views and opinions expressed by callers, guests, and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of the Black Talk Radio Network and Black Talk Media Project. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
Welcome into the Mind, Body, and Spirit Radio Show. And we are finally back here coming to you live on this Wednesday night of December the 6th, 2017. Namaste to you, Featherlight, and namaste to you, Scotty, and all of you out there. And how is everyone? How are you, Scotty? How are you, Featherlight?
I'm doing the best I can. Welcome back, ladies. I hope that your move was without any problems. I understand you still having issues with the internet, but it's good to hear your voice, Black Rose. Sister Featherlight, where you at? I didn't hear your beautiful voice. I'm not hearing.
Yeah, I don't hear her. I think it's something. Something going on with her mic.
Okay.
I think it's,
how about this?
Oh, there she is. Okay. Namaste.
Namaste, Scotty. I asked you earlier, how were you? But I didn't know that you didn't hear me.
I'm doing the best that I can, and it's great to hear your voice, both of your voices, and have you back on the airways after your short hiatus.
Thank you.
Oh, we missed being on the air. We missed everyone. Yes, we moved the Mind, Body, and Spirit show to Galveston Island, and I am actually going to share a few tidbits about Galveston Island tonight. And tonight, speaking of which, apropos of tonight, we're having just a spirit talk tonight. We just talk about this and that, a mixture of hot topics, conversations, thoughts. Of course, Featherlight will share some of her spoken word with us and Love the Body. I always look forward to your spoken word as well as the Love the Body. I always learn something from what you share with us, so I appreciate that. We all appreciate that, Featherlight. Thank you so much. It's so good to be back. It's good to be back.
Dr. Shay. Yes, it is. I heard the music that Scotty played. I said to myself, I wonder if Scotty's a dancer, because it's always something, that gets me moving, no matter what I've been doing. When I hear his intro music that introduces us, it's
I used to be a dancer, and I was pretty good. But real quick, and I'm gonna share this video with you too. I know you're gonna get a kick out of it. I need to post it in BTR community. So my daughter calls me from work the other night and say, Dad, did you see that video of you dancing on YouTube? And I'm like, what you talking about? Yeah, don't you remember when you was in high school and y'all was on that dance TV show? I was like, oh, you kidding me. And sure enough, there I was.
Really?
Yes.
What TV show was it? Gold Fever?
It was called, it was a show based in Charlotte, North Carolina that would bring in the area high schools and, they would be the show. And so the person back then, they had VCRs back then. So this girl who went to high school with us had recorded it on VCR, and she recently had it transferred to DVD and then put it on YouTube. But she only put on the parts where, he's not interviewing us. He says, what's your name? and then we're dancing off of one song, and that's Jungle Love.
Oh, wow.
Jungle Love. I remember the name Jungle Love.
Morris Day. My Jungle Love.
Jungle Love. Oh. Think I wanna know ya. My Jungle Love. Hey. Oh, I remember that.
Wow.
Cool. Oh, you should post that. Definitely post that so I can check that out, Scott.
I'm going to put it in BTR community.
I have a question. So how were you lucky enough to be in the group? Because, you have so many people in high school. So how did you get to be in this group, the dance?
Those who were interested all you had to do was sign up. And I don't know what the process was, but it was like maybe 30 or 40 of us. So I don't know how they pick and choose the individuals, but it was, I went to I live in a predominantly white area. I still live in the area where I went to high school. And, but it was probably about 30% of us were black on there. So we were representing.
Oh, wow. Okay, I look forward to seeing that. I sure do.
Indeed.
Wow.
Indeed.
You never lose your heart for dancing. You never lose your heart for dancing. You put it on the shelf. Your legs are itching. Yes. You must dance. You must always dance.
Always dance.
Yes. Yes.
Always dance, always dance. And speaking of dance, let me share my quote. Since we're being artistic and all, just trying to figure out the right segue into the quote. All right, here's a quote. Tonight we are honoring Chairman Fred Hampton for our African Spirit segment. So I will share this quote by Chairman Fred Hampton. Okay, we might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you'll remember I said, with the last words on my lips, that I am a revolutionary. And you're going to have to keep on saying that. You're going to have to say that. I am a proletariat. I am the people. Fred Hampton. Chairman Fred Hampton.
All right.
Yeah. All right, Fred Hampton. Chairman Fred Hampton. That's right. So, you have a quote, Sunlight?
Yes, I do. We need to teach our children to be free, not just black people with good jobs. And that is by Dr. Boyce Watkins, who always stresses leaving a legacy for our children, teach them to be independent. So that's a good quote.
Indeed. I believe in that. I believe in that because we come from a society of people that often were market people. You had different goods to sell, be it food, clothing, Right. So
you always had something. You always had something. You could everyone had gifts.
Something about them.
Has gifts. And you use those gifts.
Absolutely. So, I hope the audience forgives me tonight. This seems to possibly be, I'm certain, I have to check tomorrow, one of the coldest nights on this island. I mean, it's been raining. Excuse me. It's been cold, so I have this cough, and I may not always be able to click my mute button. I just despise people coughing and smacking on mitts when they're on the radio. Woo! Lord have mercy. But you might hear me. I need to find a mint and I can smack on it for my throat, a cough drop. But anyway, so pardon me, everyone, and just pray for me. Look, lift me up in prayer that I don't come down with this awful, dreadful winter cough, worse than what I already am suffering from. So
I have a recipe for you. Well, I have several, but I'm going to share one tonight.
Okay.
This is the season. This is the season.
Tis the season. Tis the season. Not only the season to be jolly, but the season that is cold. And I know if it's cold here, it has to be cold in some other areas like Pittsburgh. I don't know what the temperature is up that way in Philadelphia. Whew, I just can't do all of that cold weather. But anyway, so tonight we're having our spirit talk. Just conversations tonight, open lines. You can call in, share your thoughts. We will share our thoughts, and we'd love to hear your thoughts as well. You can always call in and chat with us, or you can log on to Uber Conference Black Talk Radio Network, and you can join in the chat room. But we also encourage you to definitely go onto the Black Talk Media Network page and donate to the Black Talk Media Network project, so that we can keep these shows coming to you live. And you can send your letters to us at mindbodyspiritradioshow@gmail.com. mindbodyspiritradioshow@gmail.com. You can send your letters, and you can call in and speak, 866-510-9025, and press **. And you can join in the conversations with us. So, hey, Further Line, I wanted to share a couple of just quick Galveston history tidbits. I love history. People know I love watching documentaries, and I just want to share a couple of tidbits about Galveston Island, because a lot of people don't know about Galveston Island and the history of it. Oh my God, it's such a well-kept secret, this little island here. So anyway, Galveston Island has a number of state firsts, such as, I thought these were interesting, so I'll just read off a few. The first post office, first street light, first naval base, first Masonic temple, first parochial school, first insurance company, first opera house, the first place here to have gas lights, the first city to have gas lights, excuse me, first to have telephones.
Wow.
And right here on the island, the visitor center has a building attached to it where General Granger read the Emancipation Proclamation, which subsequently evolved into why we celebrate Juneteenth here, June 19th. But that building is the first brick building in the state of Texas.
In the state of Texas.
In the state of Texas, yes. So Galveston was considered the Ellis Island of the West, as it was the primary entry point for European immigrants. But this was before the 1900s. In the 1900s, Galveston, in 1900, I think like September 4th, 1900, Galveston had like this horrible, devastating storm. It wasn't called a hurricane at that time. It was just called a storm. And it's still to date the worst storm or hurricane in the history of the United States. Even Harvey wasn't as bad, as the storm of 1900 here on Galveston Island, because there were over 6,000 people that perished in that storm. But before that storm, Galveston Island was the second most wealthiest city, wealthiest city in the country. And the Strand, this little strip here that's on the island with a lot of shops, just a myriad of shops. The Strand was known as the Wall Street of the South. That's just how much money was flowing in the finances of that particular district were so astronomical. It was considered the Wall Street of the South. Wow. Interesting, eh?
Very, very, very. Hey, woman, go woo.
But say woo. Wait a minute. I know a lot of people did not like that movie Norbit. Especially a lot of black women. They complained about the movie and they said that there are no black women like that. And I'm like, I see them all the time. Maybe you just don't see them. But I've seen plenty of black women that look like Respucia on Norbit. But I love that part with Marlon Wayans when he's the what is it? The power tap.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Excuse me. Yes, he's teaching the power tap. It's a Marlon Wayans. He says with those little leotards on. We're gonna percolate. We're gonna, what do you say? Some motivate, and we're gonna master the bait. Master the bait. And then he says, after they finish with their little workout, what do you say? Stretch out your bicuspid, and he's rubbing on his what is it? His calves. Talking about work out your bicuspid. Then he go up to his thighs. Your bilateral. Then he says, and your bisexual.
And your bisexual.
And your bisexual. Very good. I said, no, what kind of classes he teaching? But anyway, I just love that movie. That movie is funny as hell to me. I know a lot of people didn't like it. They didn't think it was funny, but certain scenes, oh my God. Really, not even just certain scenes. The whole darn movie was hilarious to me. Yeah. I mean, that was one of Eddie Murphy's best, for real. Oh my God, I love Norbit. Whenever I want a good laugh, I know I can count on Norbit and Richard. That's not science. No,
that's not science.
Don't move my feet up. This science. That's not science, Respucia. Yes, it is. Leave it alone. But anyway, let me finish with this. I was looking at the demographics. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me, people. You just have to forgive me. I'll be quick and mute on my mic all night long, trying not to cough, but just bear with me. So just examining the demographics according to Wikipedia of Galveston, I found it quite interesting because I know when I would visit Galveston, I said, oh my God, at first I thought Galveston was just like this, like beachy island full of tourists, just spring breakers or tourists or something like that. And the more I noticed, I said, well, goodness gracious, I said, I shouldn't see a lot of black people here. Mm-hmm. And, of course, blacks and Mexicans. And, of course, there's some Asian restaurants here. You know, Asians, they always have their pho restaurants and their Chinese food restaurants. Where I don't care what city you go to, you will definitely find some Chinese food and some pho too. But anyway, they have a pho 1, a pho 2, pho 3. I mean, you know, they do their thing. I'm not mad at them. And the Mexicans, they have the La Mexicanas everywhere. So, but anyway, so I was like, I noticed that there were a lot of black people in Galveston. I was like, so I mentioned it to this person from Houston, a Houstonian, someone actually born and raised. And this was a few years ago. I've been in Texas now almost 9 years. In fact, in 3 days it'll be my nine-year anniversary, 9 or 8 years. But anyway, so I was speaking to the person, 9. I was speaking to the person, and I said, I see a lot of black people here in Galveston. I didn't think that there were a lot of black people here in Galveston. And the person said, my friend said, well, yeah, this was one of the first ports. I mean, it's an actual port, and I didn't mention this in the tidbits of history related to Galveston, pertaining to Galveston. But Galveston also was like the largest port in the world, because you have all of those ships that travel all around the world, bringing all kinds of supplies. Then those supplies are transferred over to a train or a truck or something like that, and then it's dispersed all across the country. But anyway, so the person was like, yeah, I mean, this was a port city, so all of the enslaved Africans that were brought to different ports, this was one of the main ports right here, whereas people were able to be dispersed throughout the state of Texas, or going wherever else, to Louisiana, Georgia also. So, excuse me. And so many of those black people just remained here over time, generation after generation after. And so there's a profound amount of black people here, and I was just so surprised, because you just don't think of, well, I didn't think of it, but when you think about islands outside of the United States, when you think of the Caribbean, rather, I should say, when you go to those islands, those people are black. Most of them are black people. Yes. And so why wouldn't another island, once again, be highly populated by people of color? Yes, black people, or whatever you want to call it.
I read somewhere, Black Rose, that this was that this was the last port where enslaved Africans were actually dropped off out of all the ports. This was the last port. I don't know how true. I'll have to do my research. But since we're speaking of Galveston tidbits.
Okay. The last port. Well,
you know what? It is not. It is not South Carolina, where the what is that? The language that they speak. They're still there.
Geechee people.
Yeah.
No, but you know what?
It
really depends on what country and what group of people and all that. I mean, it could have been the last port for, say, the French on this end, since you had French and the Spanish populating Louisiana. So it could have been, it could have been the last port for the French, and then for whoever else, it could have been South Carolina or something like that. So I mean, that you have to consider those factors as well. But Galveston is quite interesting. I would tell anybody, come visit. Plenty to do. We'll share more tidbits of Galveston and what we're experiencing here. But I tell you right now, it's just really, really cold. So it'll warm back up by the weekend, I hear. But I just want to share this little piece here. Total population of Galveston is like about 50 to 50. What is that? I think it's like 50, because this statistic right here is incorrect. I think it's 50,550 people. Okay, with white population, according to this, 29,000. Hispanic or Latino, 14, almost 15,000, pretty much. Okay, let's just say 62% white, 31% Latino, 19% black or African, and 10% some other race. And then it decreases on down to like 3 Asian, 3%, 2 or more races. let me just say this. This 19% for Black and African American, that is so incorrect. That is so incorrect. That is so incorrect, which makes me now question a lot of demographics because I know for a fact that it's more than 19% Black here because everywhere you go, you're seeing Black. Yeah. So I mean, why lie on these demographics like that? Unless it's now I know that this could be a factor. Previously, Black people wouldn't answer the door for the census takers, so maybe they're still running with these. How would you say? I don't want to just call them erroneous, but just off the mark numbers, inaccurate numbers. Yeah,
they're definitely inaccurate.
Yeah, definitely inaccurate. Because, like I said, I mean, I know for a fact we have more than 19% Black here, and it's not 30%, 62% rather. It's not 62% right. I give you 31% white.
Yes.
I give you that, and I give you let's flip this Black and Hispanic and Black and African American. Let's flip that because 62%. No, I would say 62% Black, and then I would say let me see. I would say 62% Black, or I would even say 60% Black. Excuse me. And then, what would you say, Hispanic, feather light? And see, really, they should all be lumped into one category, but
should. They got 31% as Hispanic. Oh no. I'd say more like 18, 19, maybe 20.
Yeah, I would definitely say like 20 then.
Okay.
So if we're saying like 20% Hispanic, and then another 60%, well then it makes white only 20% too. Now I can go with that. I can go with about 20%. Yeah. I really can. I mean, unless you're hiding somewhere, and I haven't seen you because all I see is a bunch of Black people. So I don't know. I mean, that could be true. So I don't know.
Now they're up on the seawall, tourists.
Yeah, tourists.
But we're not counting tourists. We're counting local.
Yeah, when you go into the island. So anyway, I want to share a few hot topics. But before we do that, Featherlight, would you like to share your Love the Body with us?
Love the Body.
Love the Body.
Okay, so I want to talk about 6 super spices to keep the doctor away. So get ready.
I need that.
I guess we don't say pen and paper anymore. People use their little electronic devices. So anyway, here we go.
Because people trying to save trees.
I'm not crazy. I'm not happy.
I saw that little Snapchat in your voice.
Pen and paper. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So out of these, ginger, cumin, and cayenne all support weight loss. So keep that in mind. Nutmeg. Delicious. I love it in my vanilla ice cream because it makes me think that I'm eating eggnog ice cream. Brain tonic. A detox for liver and kidneys. It's good for indigestion relief, antibacterial compounds, which makes it effective for bad breath. It's a pain reliever. It's an effective sedative. And if you happen to suffer with acne, if you mix nutmeg with honey and make it a paste and place it directly on your acne, it will disappear. Ginger.
I want to say something about nutmeg. So now I can see why there was always nutmeg available in the kitchen. Always.
Yeah.
If you looked at someone's seasonings, if you looked at in their pantry and their seasonings, and you didn't see like cinnamon, nutmeg. I mean those basics.
Yeah.
That was weird because you used the nutmeg.
You never ran out of either.
Yes. And I heard, not that I've ever experienced this, I heard that people in jail or prison, they use the nutmeg as like some kind of little tonic to give them a little buzz.
Yeah.
Because I have read that nutmeg will give you, an effective sedative. The nutmeg will give you a certain buzz, a certain amount of it, I suppose.
Yes. You have to take quite a bit, like a whole teaspoon.
Well, you know what? Now that you mention that, it reminds me of that challenge that some of the young people had going on, and they would take like a tablespoon, I think, of cinnamon. But sometimes some of them were taking too much, or their system could not digest it. Mm-hmm. And many of them, some of those young children, they became extremely ill. I want to say one little girl died, but you got to be careful with all that. You know what you're doing. Don't just
too much of anything is not good.
So you were saying ginger? Yes,
ginger. Okay, ginger is closely related to turmeric and cardamom, which are both very, very good. Ginger reduces various types of nausea, like morning sickness or seasickness. It's anti-inflammatory. It's good for osteoarthritis. And anything that fights inflammation is great because that is at the center of a lot of diseases, inflammation. So, ginger. Ginger also fights flu and colds. And once the flu season or weather changes, we should, just get some ginger, preferably ginger root, but, ginger powder's cool too. Lowers blood sugar levels, and it speeds emptying of the stomach, so it fights chronic indigestion. Ginger.
Yeah, ginger's good. I love ginger.
Cayenne pepper or dried red pepper. Now, basically, anything of deep coloring is very good for you. And so, cayenne pepper is a deep, rich red. And I'm not just saying that because I'm black. It's really, that's what anytime you find food of some like deep coloring, like beets, it's normally very, very good for you. So, cayenne pepper relieves migraine pain. It prevents blood clots. It provides detox support. It relieves joint and nerve pain. The nerve pain can be a booger because it's like deep. It supports weight loss by boosting your metabolism. Cayenne pepper. Cumin. Cumin is anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, stops tumor growth. That's very important. Boosts your immune system. It treats insomnia. And it's antiviral and antibacterial. And it has a high source of iron. Cumin got it going on. In the Indian culture, they use a lot of cumin.
Oh, cumin. No, you're speaking of cumin. Yes, cumin.
Yes. Yeah.
Boosts immune system and treats insomnia.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about the insomnia.
It stops tumor growth. That's very good. Again, anti-inflammatory. Cinnamon. Cinnamon reduces blood sugar levels. It's a cancer prevention and treatment used with cancer patients. It strengthens your cardiovascular system, and it builds your immune system. Cinnamon. Just regular use of it. You can use it for so many different things. And lastly, we have vanilla. notice that these are pretty good tasting spices. They taste good in your food, and they make your food taste good as well. Reduces inflammation, cancer-fighting properties, strengthens your hair, speeds healing, it protects your heart, it soothes anxiety. You notice your grandma used to put vanilla in a lot of things, and it was calming when you smell vanilla. When you smell the vanilla flavoring, it sort of relaxes you. So it soothes anxiety. So if you want to put it in your milk or something like that, you kind of, got some anxiety going on. And it promotes a little
cinnamon and vanilla.
Yes. Cinnamon and vanilla and milk. Ooh. Make one world do the world. Woo. Okay, so lastly, it increases the libido. Oh, so vanilla. Vanilla increases the libido.
That's why it's always such a popular scent. You know, you see vanilla car freshener, vanilla spray, vanilla.
Exactly.
What is it? Just vanilla candles.
Always vanilla.
And then the vanilla bean is such a dark little bean. It's interesting for it to be called vanilla, but it's a dark little cocoa-looking bean.
That is true. That is true. Now we won't even get into turmeric because everybody knows that turmeric is just got it going on. So we won't.
Everybody might not know that. Everybody might not know.
That's
true. They may be
turmeric.
Yeah, they may not know.
Turmeric is the most. Yeah. Well, we've talked about it so many times on the show, but turmeric is the most effective nutritional supplement in existence out of everything, out of every herb. There have been more scientific tests and explanations and just all kinds of wonderful things that have been found for turmeric. And which reminds me, speaking of color, turmeric's coloring is so strong that you really have to be careful using it because it will stain your dish towels. It will stain your hands. You know, you mix it with water, boom, you have yellow fingers, your countertops, but it can be removed with bleach easily. But it just has a very, very strong coloring, and it's used in food coloring, as a food coloring rather, as well as for its health benefits, a lot in India for cakes and pies to give them that golden color. And also, turmeric is part of a tradition in India for the brides to have a turmeric facial the day of the wedding so that they can have that golden glow. And then some men do it as well. Yeah, so that gives bear witness to the statement I made earlier about the deeper the coloring, the more powerful the product. So turmeric, turmeric also stops bleeding. The time that you cut your leg and put the turmeric on it, it's just turmeric it's an antioxidant. It detoxifies your body, relieves headaches, a decongestant, anti-cancer benefits. It slows the progress of Alzheimer's. As I said before, it stops bleeding. Oh my gosh, just it's antioxidant, of course, anti-inflammatory. Turmeric. Oh, it has been proven, another test, to be just as effective as Prozac in treating depression. So,
did not know that.
There you have it. Now, here's a quick recipe for colds and flu. Okay? Mm-hmm. Do I have time? You wanted me to save it for later?
Yeah, go ahead on.
Okay. All right. This is good for pain reliever, colds, coughs, and fighting depression. This simple little recipe. 2 cups, and I'll put this on the BTR. I'll be back. I've just been away. 2 cups of coconut milk, 1 teaspoon of turmeric. And when you use turmeric, audience, always include about like a fourth of the amount of turmeric for black pepper, because black pepper increases the absorption of turmeric by 200% or more. So, I mean, it's like if you just add the black pepper, a lot of people make a paste of it and just keep it in a little plastic bag, and when you need it, it's already mixed, or you can do it the long way. But just think of it like that. They're like peas and carrots. They have to go together to be effective. 1 teaspoon of ginger, or a half of slice of ginger root. Honey to taste. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Libido. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon or cardamom. Cardamom is very powerful too. We just didn't get into cardamom. And this is something optional. A little handful of cilantro. You know, cilantro is great for detox. Put cilantro and everything. Strain it. The above ingredients. Allow it to sit for about 10 minutes so you improve the infusion, and serve warm. You can drink this every day as desired. Okay? 2 cups of coconut milk, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, mix them together, 1 teaspoon of ginger or half a slice of ginger root, honey to your taste, get the real honey, 1 teaspoon of vanilla flavor, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon or cardamom, and if you want, you can throw in the cilantro. And strain. Did I say strain? Strain. Allow it to sit for 10 minutes. Get that good infusion going and serve warm. All righty. And instead of drinking coffee every day, I know you have some really strong coffee drinkers out there. Try as a substitute every now and then, a couple of times a week. Lemon, hot water, cayenne pepper, and honey to taste in lieu of coffee. It boosts your metabolism. It boosts your metabolism, and it detoxes and it cleanses because you got the honey, you got the lemon, and you got the cayenne. All right, that is my Love the Body for this Wednesday, December 6th. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Namaste. Well, I definitely should try this recipe for weather change, which also can be a pain reliever, helps cough because I am having a cough.
Yes,
and cold fights depression. So yeah, this is great. So I think, I think all I need is the ginger root. Let me find some ginger root. I need to start keeping cardamom also.
Oh yeah, that's a little secret.
Yeah, a little secret. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'd like to share a couple of hot topics before we just, as we move into our conversation for tonight, Spirit Talk. If you'd like to join in and share some thoughts, please do. You are more than welcome to, shall I say. So did anybody see Colin Kaepernick receive his award last night? He was honored with Sports Illustrated. And Colin Kaepernick is the 2017 Sports Illustrated recipient of the Muhammad Ali Legacy Award. He received praise and accolades for his bravery from Sports Illustrated. And Beyonce was the presenter of the award. So she actually spoke about his bravery, and she also spoke about, I'm sure people have probably seen this if you haven't. I mean, if you're interested, you can always YouTube or Google, and you'll see her commentary in which she spoke about why he actually started the protest and how it's been misconstrued and all twisted into something completely different from what he initially began protesting, which he has continued and maintained to protest about, which was the killing of black people and people of color in the streets, as if they're not human beings.
Right.
So viciously being brutally killed. So anyway, Beyonce spoke about his bravery, and people had their comments to say about Beyonce, calling her police hater and all of this, even though she actually, delineated his reasons for protesting, and he has no hatred for veterans or police officers, excuse me. And so Beyonce's mother, Tina Knowles, who I do admire so much, for being so truthful and raising some beautiful, beautiful, talented daughters. So she actually gave some of her what they say, clap back at many of the haters of Beyonce's commentary in regards to Colin being nominated or winning the award, the Sports Illustrated Award, the Muhammad Ali Legacy Award. Let me find this quote from Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. So Muhammad Ali said, "If I was walking down the highway with a quarter in my pocket and a briefcase full of truth, I'd be so happy." And that was recorded from Muhammad Ali in Sports Illustrated, February 19th, 1968 magazine. Muhammad Ali. So Colin Kaepernick is the recipient of the 2017 Sports Illustrated Muhammad Ali Legacy Award. You go, Colin. You do that because he has sacrificed, and he will be victorious. In fact, we will be victorious. I talk to so many people that are despondent and they have all of this despair and apathy, but you know what? It's going to be okay, people. It really is. Trust me. In fact, it is okay. It already is okay.
Yes.
We're winning. I keep telling people we are winning. Yes. Yes. We're winning. We're winning. So, pardon me. Did anybody see I believe I sent it to you, Featherlight. Speaking of Sports Illustrated, the Delta Sigma Theta sisters, their social media picture from Costa Rica went viral. I mean, these sisters look beautiful too, and they all plan to wear these bathing suits that complemented their skin tone. And I mean, look, just Google that Delta Sigma Theta Melanin Illustrated. If you just Google Melanin Illustrated, USA Today even wrote an article about it. That's just how viral this picture went. And I mean, that picture is beautiful. Yes, that picture is beautiful. It is beautiful. I wouldn't mind printing that picture and having it framed. That's just how beautiful that is. And they said that they wanted that picture to reflect sisterhood and the true essence of sisterhood and beauty. And it definitely reflects that. I love that. I think it was like their 10-year anniversary, and so all of them, they went to Costa Rica to celebrate.
They look fabulous. They just look.
What were your thoughts on the picture, Featherlight? You said what?
Oh, I was blown away when I saw it. I was wondering. I didn't know that it was the sorority. I just immediately just saw a group. I even counted them. You know how detailed I am. Of beautiful Black women showing off the many different variations and shapes and sizes of beauty of our people, of our women. And I just stopped there. It's like, wow. And the fact that all of them had to come together and
oh my goodness,
the outcome, excuse me, you spill out my ear. The outcome is magnificent. Magnificent.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes,
very
sisters.
proud.
You did that. And it's so and some people may say, oh, why are they talking about their little group picture, and yes, but it went viral. But see, when you grew up as a black woman being told that you're ugly, you don't fit in, your butt's too big, your nose too big, you're too loud, your eyes too big, your lips too big, your hair is not right, so you need to start permanent as soon as possible. When you've been made to feel that way all of your life, and you need to work 3 times as hard, not just twice as hard, but 3 times as hard.
3 times, yeah.
The 3 times as hard because you're a woman and you're black. Yes. Yeah. And you've been made to feel like that for 40, 50, 60 years, and generation after generation. You damn right we like to see some sisters posing, coming together, and showing beauty.
Right.
You're damn right, because we didn't get a chance to see that too often.
You sure didn't.
No. And once Jet and Ebony began to show those images, in essence, and now that all of that's been, diminished right before our eyes.
Sure is.
Those companies not even owned or represent black culture as they once
not
did.
anymore.
So you're darn right. Yes, I was happy to see Melanin Illustrated. Yes, because it's damaging to your psyche when you're made to not feel beautiful. When you're, and I'm not talking about she's pretty in the face. I'm talking about your whole essence. I'm going deeper than just what's on the outside. For people that just think, you got to be worried about what somebody think about you. No, when the world makes you feel less than what you are, and you know deep down inside that you're magnificent, but they beat you down and beat you down and beat you down and beat you down and beat you, call you welfare queen and all of this. And, so yes, we were very, highly sexualized. You're so sexualized.
Right.
I can just walk up to you and I can just rape you whenever I want to. So yes. Very, very excited to see some sisters looking beautiful, feeling beautiful, traveling, having their own girls' trip celebration. Yes, indeed, we enjoy it. Hallelujah, celebrating it all the way.
All the way. Make a woman go to world.
Woo! Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So a lot of people were following sort of like the ATL mayoral race with Keisha Bottoms and this Norwood lady she also ran against Kasim Reed. I think it was back in 2009. But this was a very important election because it was very close. I think it was like close, just like around a few hundred votes or something like that. So they're going into a runoff, even though the sister Keisha Bottoms actually won, but it was so close that they have to have that. There's no one person that asked for a runoff, which she should do, ask for a runoff. So they're going into a runoff, I think, this Saturday. But a lot of people were watching this race because it would have been the first time in 40 years that Atlanta would have a white mayor. And Atlanta, like many other cities, is experiencing gentrification. Even here in Galveston Island, there's a lot of gentrification and just quote-unquote redevelopment. But Galveston Island is actually redeveloping. It really is redeveloping from Hurricane Ike in 2008. So they're still building, and they're just rebuilding. And, of course, with rebuilding, you have new businesses and neighborhoods change. But, yeah, it is still gentrification. I mean, that's the master plan going on all around this country, for sure. So, when we come back, I want to talk about this Centonia Brown case because this case was very popular like a few weeks ago, but I kind of been having a hiatus from social media with my move and everything here to the island. So I don't know if people have really still been talking about Centonia Brown, but we didn't get a chance to talk about Centonia. So do want to talk about Centonia Brown, another hot topic, the slavery going on in Libya. I want to talk about that. That's a hot topic. There are different groups that are planning trips to speak on this slavery in Libya. And this has all of a sudden become like extremely popular because some photos have been leaked. But, excuse me, I've been hearing about this and seeing some photos from some of my other international friends. And, I mean, I was kind of like unsure, too, because you began to wonder sometimes about some of these pictures. And you just have to verify and research. And so, I mean, it actually does seem to be quite true that slavery has been revived in Libya. And when we come back, we want to talk about how the Obama, not just focus on that, but I really want to talk about, like, what was Libya like prior to Gaddafi being killed and assassinated by the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton. So let's take a break. We'll also talk about the Me Too campaign, Time Magazine Person of the Year, the whole movement, and all this sexual deviancy and debauchery that continues to surface. In Katy ISD, we'll talk about what's going on with the school district here in Texas, and we'll be right back. You tune into the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show.
For podcasts and live program scheduling, visit us on the web at blacktalkradionetwork.com.
And we are back here at the Mind, Body, and Spirit radio show. And tonight we are having Spirit Talk, all things spiritual and worldly. You can join us in the chat room, or you can call in and speak your piece. You can call in 866-510-9025 and press star to unmute yourself, and you can share your thoughts or comments with us. So this is Antonia Brown case. So people were really getting interested in this case, and some say because, what's her name? What's the little umbrella girl name? Rihanna. Rihanna actually started tweeting or posting on her social media accounts about this case because the documentary was recently aired. So Centonia Brown, she's this young girl. She's 29 now, but she has been serving a life sentence for the 2004 murder of a Nashville real estate agent, Johnny Allen, who was 43 at the time. And she was tried as an adult in adult court and sentenced to life. She was 16 at the time. Now, with this young girl, should I go through all the details, Southern Light?
Yes, please. For those who don't know.
For those who don't know. So I'll just try to give a brief synopsis. So Centonia Brown, she was 16 at the time, and she was being actually held as a sex slave. Now we know this as being held as a sex slave or sex trafficking, because with her being underage, she could not at that time really make the proper decisions in terms of her life and her welfare, especially when you look at this young girl's background. I watched one of the documentaries. Yes, I watched one of the documentaries detailing her life and her case and what her mom and other family members experienced, the depression that was going on in the family, period, from the grandmother to the grandfather, the aunts, the mom. So, I mean, this poor little girl didn't have a chance. And, you know, right now, today, we say, I look at some of these children, and I say, oh, they don't even have a chance. And I remember like 10 years ago we were saying that this generation, these children that we will see right now, we used to say 10 years ago, these children don't have a chance. And I look at them now and I say that they don't even have a chance. Because when you look at their moms and what their moms are suffering from depression or whatever is going on with them, just all kinds, not whatever, but all kinds of things that people experience in life, especially when you're just battling trying to survive. And for some women, if you don't have the support that you need, even if you do have the support, it's just difficult. Some people, it's just difficult. That's a whole nother story and topic, dealing with all that we have to deal with as people trying to make it. So, but anyways, this young girl, Centonia Brown, she climbed into a pickup truck with this real estate person, Alan, and 43-year-old man, and she went to his home, and they were in bed, and she said that he had showed her his guns, and then he began to grab her and assault her, and excuse me, and she said that he looked at her with this the scariest, most terrifying look, and then he reached over to the same place where she knew that where she felt that he had his guns that he had just finished showing her. And so she said she reached for her gun and she shot and killed him. So she's serving time for shooting and killing this man. But she was actually being held as a child prostitute, and in fact, in this day, like today, if this happened today, she would not be charged because she was a victim of sex trafficking. But at the time, in 2004, sex trafficking was not popular. People were not very familiar with it unless they were somehow directly involved with it or involved in some type of way. So, attorneys for Centonia Brown, let's see, they are seeking clemency. They're filing a clemency petition with the Board of Parole before Christmas. So I think that we should go ahead on and write this Governor Bill Haslam's legal office. We can write to the governor on behalf of Centonia, especially since if this were to happen today, she would not be charged. In fact, people will be coming to her to write a movie, to write a book, movie deals, and all this, because she was somebody that stood up, just like what is happening right now with so many women coming out speaking about how they were sexually assaulted. See, at that time, there weren't any resources. And when you look at this young girl's life, just listening to her mother was also suicidal. She was drinking. She was under the influence when she had Centonia, when she was pregnant with Centonia. She subsequently gave Centonia up to this other woman, excuse me, because she knew that she was unable to take care of this child, because the mother, Centonia's mother, felt like she didn't know how to take care of herself because her mother didn't teach her. So this was generational. So her mother was not totally involved in her life to raise a stable person. So how is this unstable person going to raise another stable person? So not only was the mother suffering from depression and a drug user, the sister committed suicide. Yes, attempted suicide. I believe it was the aunt that also killed herself, or attempted. No, I think it was the aunt that attempted suicide so many times. And the grandfather, multiple times she attempted suicide. The grandfather killed himself, and I think it was another relative that also killed himself. So I'm saying all of this just to give people the background for this young girl, Centonia Brown. So it's not like this just some random young prostitute girl. She should not have been out on the street. She should have been at home. No, and that's why it's so important for us to really look at a person's story and see what's going on, the why. I always say, well, I mean, we can look at some of these 16-year-old girls. Oh, she got pregnant. Oh, she should have kept her legs closed. Why she shouldn't have having sex? The girl may not even have a mother to even have told her anything like that.
Right. The cousin may be the father, and she not even know what that's all about. She may not even have a clue. Right. So
there's so many factors.
Judge. Yes.
Exactly.
Like Brenda's having a baby, like Tupac sung about. The song Tupac sung about.
Ladies,
you know?
Ladies,
yes.
I know a little something about that case. It was brought to my attention maybe about 7 or 8 years ago. I've been knowing about this case, and she comes from a broken family. Her mother was on drugs and being abused herself, and so I can see, you know, how she was in an environment that, you know, wasn't good for her. So she came up, I guess we would call it a broken family, you know, drug addiction and stuff like that. So
just looking at the documentary, Scotty, it was just heartbreaking because you can see that in the beginning of her case, it was like she was disconnected from it all. And
yes, you are.
Disconnected in a way like, oh, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be, because she was just a child. This girl, she was still a baby. Really still a baby. Still need to be under adult supervision, under her parents' care. And she was not. Yeah, and she was not. And then the police officers, then the police officers railroaded her, telling her they were going to help her and all. Spoke with her without a lawyer. This was a child, a 16-year-old child, and this plays back into the adultification of young black girls. Because them knowing that this was a 16-year-old girl that was involved in some type of murder, they should have been saying, listen, baby girl, for your own rights and protection, I'm going to treat you just like you my daughter or my niece. And as an officer, you have the right to have your lawyer here. Yes, they Mirandized her. I think I need to go back and watch that. But she didn't completely understand her rights.
No,
because
she didn't understand.
This girl was still a baby that's basically been kind of sort of raising herself and in the street. Yeah, she had a foster mother. But still.
But she always wondered why it always plagued her that her mother gave her up.
Yeah,
that was a friend. Yeah. That was, you know, she didn't understand. That's the worst thing a child can feel, that your parents don't want you. You know?
Oh, my goodness. So, this young girl.
Who should they write to again? Bill somebody?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Governor Bill Haslam. Just Google the governor of Tennessee. Governor Bill Haslam's legal office.
Okay.
And so the clemency application is going to be filed. They should release this young girl. I think, what's her name? I believe I heard that Kim Kardashian was like trying to pay her legal fees or paying her legal fees or something like that. Oh, pardon me, people. But that's all fine and well. And I think that's absolutely great if she is doing that. And we can also do our part by calling the office or fax, email, or send a letter on her behalf, because she was an abuse. She was a victim of sexual abuse and sex trafficking. So if anything, she needs to be released. Yes, she needs the therapy that she needs, because her childhood was taken away from her. She was forced into prostitution. So let me see. She was convicted of murder, prostitution, under a state law that has since been abolished amid recognition that minors are victims of sex trafficking, not consenting sex workers. Minors are no longer able to be convicted on sex charges under state law. So this is why you can include this language in your letter. Since this is the case, then therefore she should be released. And it's really the same as a lot of these young people, well, not young people, just people, period, that have been incarcerated on these 3-strike drug laws and all that, selling marijuana and all of this stupid stuff. And now it's like 27 states where marijuana, some form, recreational or medicinal, is legal now. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. So anyway, this young girl, she should be free. Free Santonia Brown, since the law has been changed anyway, and she never should have been convicted for this
in the first place.
If she was some young, rich, wealthy, young white girl, I guarantee you this would not have happened. If she was of someone of affluence, if she came from some type of prominent, wealthy family, be it black or white, this would not have happened. It would not have gone down like that. I am so certain. I'm so certain. She would have had the right lawyer there for her. And see, that's one thing that we have to do also. I know in this case it's different with this young girl because she comes from this family that had all of these all these mental illnesses going on, married with the poverty. So we have to teach our children about the law, that they have the right to an attorney and they don't have to say anything. Give me my lawyer. I want an attorney. Speaking of which, that case, did anybody hear about that case with the young man? I forgot what this happened because I was speaking with you about this, Featherlight. So the young man, he was being questioned by the police. He was actually just giving some statements because he had some information pertaining to, I believe it was like a pedophile in the neighborhood that was trying to attack one of the young children. And he was like trying to assist the police in giving some information about the assailant. And then the police, of course, don't want to do their job, turned it on him. These particular cops didn't want to do their job and then want to just pin it on this guy. And he's like, wait a minute, no, I'm trying to like just give you information on the case. I'm not the one. I'm not the assailant. I'm not the pedophile trying to attack this child. And he said, give me a lawyer, dog. Right, you know how guys talk, give me a lawyer, dog, like, dog, what's up, dog? Excuse me. So this case has gone all the way to the state Supreme Court because he was not given a lawyer because the cops said that when he said, give me a lawyer, dog, they didn't think he was asking for a lawyer because he said, give me a lawyer, dog.
That's crazy. I can't even see how they would even waste the taxpayers' time and money taking this mess.
Yeah. When the first judge that heard this, he should have immediately thrown this out. Those officers should have been charged for violating somebody's civil rights. Their amendment. What is it, the eighth one? Whatever it is, their rights were violated, okay?
Oh.
So, that doesn't make any sense at all. So anyway, write to the judge in hopes that by Christmas she will be given her clemency and maybe next year she can be home and try to start her new life because she did earn her associate's degree in some program. I couldn't find it listed, but she did earn her associate's degree, so she is making use of her time in prison, and she counsels other young people. So she should be granted clemency. She fought for her life. She thought that was self-defense. This is a young girl, an old man just grabbed her, and she was frightened, so she was defending herself. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. If she had a good lawyer that cared anything about her, that case would have. It's self-defense. Clearly viewed as self-defense. But again, it goes back to the adultification of young black girls. Just fearing her as, you're just a black girl. It's your mom's fault anyway. You should not have been out prostituting. So, but anyway, would you like to share any thoughts on the case, kind of like before we move on?
No. How a child is brought up, their environment, it really, really, really affects where they end up. And that should be taken into consideration when things like this happen. I mean, when a European or Caucasian commits a crime these days, even some of the horrific crimes, immediately the media wants to dig into their background and see, well, what happened to make them kill 9 people that they didn't know? Well, the father did this, and well, I can understand. I mean,
so
it's like you said, it's crazy.
A lot of people go through that. I mean, we could always say that we suffer from the effects of poverty.
Yes.
Speaking of which, I should get to that article.
Post-traumatic. It's in the DNA. It's in the DNA.
We're constantly being assaulted with racial attacks. Speaking of which, I'm going to get to this story too in Tennessee about these young boys with this group text. I'll just go ahead on and get to it then, since I've gone this far. This group text with these boys talking about lynching some black boys at this school in Tennessee.
Oh.
Yes, and so thankfully some of the students that viewed the text, right, they alerted the principal and the assistant principal. But of course the principal and the assistant principal were very relaxed in their response. Okay, so they were like, yeah, okay, well, then, hell, look, they probably were saying, well, that little lynching sure would have been good to see. I tell you what, we're just, because, they used to come by the tens and thousands, let's be clear. They used to come by the tens of thousands to see a lynching. In fact, I recall reading an account in, I think it was Ida B. Wells' Red Record, how the train that was coming into town, bringing the people in to view this lynching, was so packed that people were sitting on the top of the train, on the window sill, just hanging out the train. Train just overloaded, just completely overloaded with people trying to get to this particular area for this lynching. So anyway, like I said, apparently this principal and assistant principal, they must be very similar, akin to these boys' parents, because they were very relaxed in their response. You know what the punishment was for the boys? They were talking about plotting a murder. Let's be clear. They were plotting a murder. Do you know what their punishment was? Write a 10-page paper about it. Oh. What? Write a 10-page. But you know what? I'm so glad that the tables are turning, and I keep telling people that we are winning. We are winning. Just trust me, we're winning. The tables are turning. Just. What is it? Keep your eyes on the prize. Just keep your eyes on the prize. So the students said, that's how you want to do it? So guess what? The students continued to protest until the principal and the AP were suspended themselves.
Wow.
However, the students are still upset because the boys who were plotting this lynching have not been suspended. So they're still taking action. This was just like the day before yesterday, I believe, that I came across this story, I believe on Twitter. But anyway, because I hadn't seen any news articles about it as of yet. So I have to check and see, are there any new developments pertaining to this story? But it's Tennessee. There's group text. What is the name of the school? Because I did mean to call the school today, but I did not get a chance to call that school. I believe it's called Haywood High School. I'll double check that and I'll put it on the BTR page. So, planning a murder. Yeah, and the principal and AP, they just like, oh, well, you just write a 10-page paper about it. We'll assign a 10-page paper as your punishment. Yeah, you can get somebody to write that for you for a couple of $100.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and next time, just don't get caught. I mean, that's basically what they were telling them when they said this 10-page paper. Instead of them calling the police and having these children locked up, or at least at minimum go through some type of therapy, because you are a sociopath.
Yeah.
And you may not have gone through with this one, but you will go through with one eventually.
Yes.
And what have you done previously that we don't know about?
Exactly.
Anybody have any missing cats or dogs or somebody missing? Because that's how it starts. So slavery in Libya has been a hot topic, as we mentioned. These pictures have been circulating around social media. I read this article, Slavery in Libya, 21st Century Style, Thanks to Barack Obama, by Oscar Van Herden. Excuse me. December 6th is when he wrote this article, so you can check this article. You can read this article. Now, I have a friend that has been also tweeting about this and saying that slavery exists in Libya all because of Hillary Clinton. And, you know, when you really go and do the research and kind of look into some of this, and you'll recall, I do want to read Hillary's book, What Happened, or whatever the hell it is, just to see what the hell she's talking about. Because, you know, they tend to spill the beans on a lot if you read between the lines. But anyway, the article reads that because of Obama's intervention and facilitation, extremist elements now run the country. No law or order exists, and now we have slavery again. The first black president of the land of the free and the home of the brave has reintroduced modern slavery in Africa. Hundreds of Africans have been bought, sold, and murdered in Libya, all because of Western powers' greed for oil and other resources on the African continent, which has always been the case. Resources, land and the resources within the land. So, I don't know if you've seen some of the pictures, but it's just horrible, some of the pictures that are being shown with a lot of the young men enslaved, and some of them just, they have this look in their eyes like, you know, what's happening. Just it's a look that is difficult to explain, and I know we were talking about this look that you see in some men's eyes. It's just like this distant look, like they're truly in that sunken place. And the first time I ever saw that look in somebody's eyes was right after Hurricane Katrina, and we were in Baton Rouge, and we were helping with the cleanup. And to see people standing outside the shelters and some of the vacant buildings, and the look, it was a look that just stained my heart. And I'll never forget it. I can just see this man right now, just standing there, and such a lost, sunken place look. But that was the look that you could see in the eyes of some of the people that were being held in some of these cages in Libya. So I wanted to kind of talk about, just briefly speak on some of the benefits that Libya was able to enjoy with Brother Omar Gaddafi being their quote-unquote dictator, as he has been called. So education and medical treatment and electricity were free in Libya before the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton went over there and assassinated their brother. Okay, because he was one brother that identified with Africans. Let's see here. There was no interest on loans. Banks in Libya are state-owned, and loans were given to all of its citizens at 0% interest by law.
0%.
If a Libyan was unable to find employment after graduation, the state would pay the average salary of the profession as if he or she is employed until employment is found.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Ah.
And if Libyans were to take up a farming career, they would receive farmland, a house, equipment, seed, and livestock to kickstart their farms. This was all for free.
Oh.
Yep.
Little did we know. Little did we know.
The Gaddafi made water readily available throughout the desert country. A home was considered a human right in Libya. In his green book, he stated, "The house is a basic need of both the individual and the family. Therefore, it should not be owned by others." You see, that's what we always say, free the land. Free the land. We're supposed to be able to go set up a tent just like the Native Americans and Africans and everybody else around here before. You started charging people for land and to build a house and all of that. We built our own homes out of whatever was available on that particular part of the land in that world.
Right.
And now they have us paying rent, electricity bills, and all of this stuff that don't even make any sense.
Property taxes,
cable, internet, phone, so all of this stuff that
airspace
that we're paying for, air conditioning unit. It's crazy because you take me out of my natural habitat and then you force me into another form of debt. And it's a Ponzi scheme. You're going to make me pay for something that's free. Something that you have no right to own. You have no right to own this land. You remember that song, "This land is your land, this land is my land"? Yeah.
In California, right.
Yeah, that's real. You have no right to own this land. So they stopped showing those little cartoons, I believe. But anyway, so all newlyweds in Libya will receive $50,000 by the government to buy their first apartment, so they help start the family. Now, I did read that it was difficult in terms of the paperwork and all of that, but if you follow through with all your paperwork, it's just like with student loans and anything else, so I imagine here, if you follow through with all the paperwork, you will get, so look at what they take you through to get, disability. Oh, my God, you damn near got to be crawling up in there on one leg and one arm. Not even an arm, an elbow. But they give you darn disability. So, I guess it probably was as difficult as that. But then you were guaranteed the $50,000, 60,000 dinar, 50,000 in U.S. dollars. Okay, and a portion of Libyan oil sales was credited directly to the bank accounts of citizens. A mother who gave birth will receive the equivalent of 5,000 U.S. dollars. When a Libyan buys a car or would buy a car under Gaddafi's dictatorship, the government would subsidize 50% of the price. The government, we're not giving you crap, not giving you nothing. Nothing on that. Nothing on that new car. Again, so the education and medical treatments were free. There was no external debt. And women in Libya were free to work and dress as they like, even though that was an Arab country, right? Excuse me, I really do apologize for coughing like this, everybody, but I will be pressing mute every couple of seconds because I just have this cough. The weather has just changed drastically here on the island. It's just unreal. It was nice and warm last week. We had on shorts, walking through, and
playing in the sand.
Coat and playing in the sand and everything else. And this week you need a coat. And I mean, it sounded like Harvey out there. I mean, this wind been blowing like this for 2 days. I almost thought I was going to have to go see a therapist because I was having some flashbacks from Harvey because this wind, I promise you this wind sounds like Harvey. Almost. Not as loud, or the rumble is not as powerful, but it's kind of pretty loud out there. But anyway, so I just want to share that about Libya and just speak on the whole slavery issue. Now, what's her name? That little Indian lady that pretend like she white. Trump named her as UN something. What is it? Nikki Haley. So Nikki Haley, she's supposed to be investigating these claims of slavery. What's going on in Libya? I don't have much faith in her at all. So I think that more so working with an international group, something could be done in that area. I know that there's several different groups of people that are coming together to go and speak on this issue. So if you're interested in getting with some groups, then I think definitely that's something that we should do, because, I mean, our black men are just under attack all over the world, as we can see.
They are. You can also, hear a couple of things that our listeners can do. You can donate to the International Organization for Migration, IOM. IOM is an organization that's really at the forefront of this violation of human rights in Libya, and they have closed 7 detention centers where these migrants have been exploited and abused. So you can learn more about them, donate to them. That's the International Organization for Migration. Then also we can use the media, social media. We know the power and influence that we have with the social media in this particular time. And according to IOM, International Organization for Migration, smugglers utilize Facebook to broadcast their threats and abuse to family members all over the globe about this very same thing. So we can help IMO advocate sites like Facebook to ban the sharing of these videos on their website. We should bring that up to the forefront with Facebook. Yes. And there's a buying guide that has been created by IOM about the production of consumer goods that contributes to this. So I guess once you go on IOM website, you'll just click on buying guide, and it'll just show that the companies that are actually benefiting from this inhumane trafficking. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we need to pull that list together. That's a start. And then, you know what? Just start. Take one step. Just take one step.
Right.
That's what we have to do. Thanks for sharing that, because it was just seeing that. It was very difficult, very, very disturbing, and I almost had. I think I have been having a blockage of it, because I could not digest it. I just could not digest it. I said, we're always fighting so many different battles. We rarely have time to just live, because we're always fighting. We're always battling oppression and battling unrighteousness. But we will win. We will win. I don't want to take up too much time. I did want to quickly mention, before Featherlight, you go into your spoken word, about the Me Too campaign. So Time Magazine's Person of the Year is the Me Too movement, which is a lot of people, they think that this Me Too, we spoke about this. A lot of people think that the Me Too campaign started with Melissa Milano when she tweeted Me Too, being sexually harassed by Harvey Weinstein and all these producers. But actually, the Me Too movement was started by Tarana Burke, excuse me. And this campaign particularly focused on women of color. And she created the campaign for the youth organization Just Be in 2007 when she was told a story by this young girl who had been sexually abused. A young girl shared her story. And so she started this campaign. However, the campaign, the hashtag Me Too became popular after Melissa Alano began to tweet this Me Too, and there's so many people, and we know now how this has spiraled into so many people being outed in terms of their sexual harassment, like Kevin Spacey, even from some of his lead in different productions. I heard that Netflix is going to have one more season of House of Cards. Oh, goodness. Get this together here. Hold on. I'm hearing an echo.
Yes, we have to.
Yeah, okay. I hope that we cleared that up.
Mm-hmm.
House of Cards is going to come back for another season without Kevin Spacey. It's going to come on with, what's her name? I'm drawing a blank. But Claire. I know her as Claire now. You know what? I am so sorry. I did not even go into our break for our African Spirit on Fred Hampton. I can't believe that. Yeah.
You have time.
So much.
Oh, please do. You have time.
Well, you know what? What I'll do is let me share, just because December 4th was the day that Fred Hampton. Let's see here. I'll just read this part here. Let me just cut my little piece down. I am so sorry, Chairman Fred Hampton. Please forgive me. I'm hearing the echo still. All right. So thank you so much, Scotty, for playing that intro music. I just love that intro music for our African Spirit. And tonight we are honoring Chairman Fred Hampton, who was an activist and revolutionary chairman of the Illinois chapter of Black Panther Party and deputy chairman of the National BPP, Black Panther Party, Born August 30th, 1948. He was assassinated December 4th, 1969, caused a death gunshot wound. Now, I think that, and of course his son, Fred Hampton Jr., is quite the activist. He's always speaking out on social justice issues and still living that revolutionary legacy of his father. Now, I love this piece. I did want to write this piece down about Fred Hampton, because I'm not going to go into all the details. We've spoken about Fred Hampton before, and we're a little short on time. So I promise you that I will come back to our brother, the Honorable Chairman Fred Hampton. But I love this piece when he says, I can't quote him exactly, but he says something like, if we don't eliminate fascism, we'll come up with answers and unanswered questions. Did something. I mean, it's just so brilliant. The brother was just so brilliant. He had this focus on education, and to hear him speak about how you can't keep bringing all of these different programs in to a community when the people are not educated about certain things in life, because if they don't know the fundamentals, they're not going to understand what you're talking about on this paper. They're not going to understand why they need to do this or why they need to do that, because they haven't been properly educated. And so what Fred Hampton was sharing with the people and speaking to and serving the people, it was just so brilliant and so needed. And I will say this about Brother Chairman Fred Hampton. people are always complaining about, oh, look what they doing in Chicago. Oh, they killing up each other and all of this, and what's wrong with those children in Chicago? Well, don't blame those children. Okay, right. Let's stop blaming those children, and let's place the blame where it should be, on the corrupt Chicago PD, and not just at that time. Remember, now we just started hearing about a few, what was it, last year? Was it last year when it was revealed about how they were running that black spot? Right. Excuse me, there in Chicago. Right. Okay? So even after 1969, from my understanding, this little black spot was still quite active, whereas people were disappeared for days and interrogated as if they were in Guantanamo Bay. According to some of these reports, nobody knew where they were.
Holman Square.
They didn't know where they were.
It's called Holman Square in Chicago, where that recently happened.
That's right. Holman Square. That's right. Sure is. And then they had the little crazy man that I think some people were saying was one of those Nazi scientists. He was one of the people that was over it or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But it was something with that little old man that was tied to it and all of that. So my whole thing is, if the corrupt Chicago PD, along with the FBI, because come on, we all know that all of this was tied in together, if they had not have assassinated Fred Hampton, then maybe, just maybe some generations would have had a chance. Just maybe. So whenever people start talking about the young people over in Chicago killing each other and all of that, put it back on, no. Let's place blame where it needs to be, on this government, the corrupt Chicago PD, whatever, however you want to state it. But the blame lies in this system that assassinated this young brother that was trying to help and uplift Chicago at that time. So I just want to share that about Fred Hampton Jr., and I think that that's even better. Instead of me trying to read something or play some video clip, I can give you something related to how this brother, some real talk on this brother. Some real talk. That's what I call it. I'm going to give you some real talk on Brother Fred Hampton Jr., Chairman Fred Hampton, on how he was trying to help the community. And now look what we have. And so these people, they knew exactly what they were doing. And I just want to mention just really quickly about Fred Hampton and speaking on education. I was talking to this teacher the other day, and he was telling me that they don't even teach spelling in the schools anymore. So what, you don't want people to know how to read and spell? I mean, I don't understand. And then they talk about where they graduate and career. Well, I guess they can if they don't know how to spell. Right. How can you do that? I mean, spelling is important. Excuse me. And so we're giving, as a community and as parents, because I'm not a parent to any children, but as a community and parents, giving a false pretense that children are actually learning spelling, but they're not because of the spelling bee contest. And what I need to research, is that just here in Texas or is that nationally? So if parents have children, and if you know that your children are not, they don't have spelling as part of the curriculum, let us know that. I'd love to hear that. So we'll move on. I did want to talk about this asthma in this neighborhood called the Forgot About neighborhood in Baltimore, where as a third of the asthma cases are coming out of this particular neighborhood because of all the poisonings. And the hospitals, they feel like it's just more profitable to just allow these people to continue to have the asthma problems and treat the problems rather than just eradicate where the asthma is coming from, like the carpet, the rodents, and the bugs and all of that that are in these buildings. So, but we'll come back and talk about that next week briefly, because I think we have some guests next week and the week after that.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
So I will thank you for that, because as you said, that's real talk. That's for real. That's the real deal. The consequence is no coincidence. I always say that. The consequence is no coincidence. Look at what caused this system, this systematic process or situation that we are in. I mean, I really I don't get it when people just kind of put down the children, because the environment does play a huge role, and there are people out there who are trying to do some good things for children, and when they are stopped dead in their tracks, you have to look at that and wonder, why? Why?
Yeah, why?
Are we ready for the spoken word? I will do. This is a spoken word that is not my original piece, but I did kind of add a few things, and it's if you've heard it before, it's been around for years. It's one that I called the keeper back when I was working. So it's called Your Life, Your Train. Your life is your train. You are the conductor and a passenger. How your train moves and where it ends up is totally up to you. Now, your talents and abilities, dreams and goals are your tickets. Now, don't go getting excited just because you have a ticket. If you do not use it, you won't go anywhere. Opportunities are stations along the way. If you are not at the station on time, you will be left standing at the station with all the other people who merely have tickets. The train will not wait for you. You cannot hold the train for people who are late, who are thinking about taking the train, but are preoccupied with other less important things. You cannot stop the train at every station to make sure everybody who wants to ride is on the train. Some people will be afraid to ride the train. They will be suspicious, even with tickets in hand. If you try to hold up the train while they contemplate, analyze the speed and color of the train, who all is on the train, how many stops will it make, who's at the wheel, and whether or not they like them, and so on, you yourself may lose your seat and find yourself standing at the station right along with them. Keep your train well fueled, keep it clean, and be on the lookout for nicks and cracks and stones thrown on the tracks by those who prefer to remain behind. The train ride will get bumpy. Be aware of those who will try to pull you off your train, distract you. Hold steady your course. Above all, be sure you don't run over people, and never lose sight of compassion for others. Move out at a steady pace, slow but sure. And if you are a conscientious and alert conductor, your train will take you places you never could imagine. All aboard. Namaste. Now, let me give you a little message on that. Namaste. Black quote. The masses are awakening. They're becoming aware of the truth. Some are still asleep, and that's okay. Everyone is not set to wake up at the same time. They may be our friends, our loved ones, family members, etc. And it is natural for us to get frustrated when certain people we care about or are simply acquainted with do not get it. And we spend a lot of our energy holding up the train, your train, as you try to convince others to see the truth, your truth, to use their tickets and get on board. But everybody will not be ready to leave the station, and we must accept this. You cannot teach a person the truth. The truth has to be accepted. You cannot teach the truth. It has to be accepted. You can show someone who is thirsty where the well is, but they must drink from the well themselves when they are ready. And even Rip Van Winkle woke up at one point. So, namaste.
Oh, namaste, Feather. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Once again, a powerful piece for us. We appreciate you. Everybody's not going to hop on that train.
No, everybody's not ready.
No, they're not ready. They're not ready. Let them come to it at their own time. Give us our breathing and take us on out.
All right. So, I want everybody to just relax and breathe. I mean, like, really breathe. Take a deep breath and breathe. Breathe with your stomach. If you see your chest rise, then that's not quite the right way. Your stomach should rise when you inhale, and your stomach should go down when you exhale. So let's try that deep breathing. Just relax your shoulders by bringing them up to your ears and letting them fall gently. And then raise your chin slightly so that your spine is aligned with the back of your neck, the back of your head. Relax your throat. Relax your face. And put the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. This is connecting the front and back ingredients. Okay? So, as you exhale, let go of all of your worries of yesterday. Worry is like a down payment on a problem that may never happen. So release your anxiety. Release your anxieties. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is... just a second.
Either seated on the ground with crossed legs.
Hold on just a moment. Keep breathing. Okay, I hope you were still breathing. Sorry about that, guys.
If you say so.
Let me just...
Tuck the chin slightly to feel length.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. We're both having issues, aren't we? Okay, now relax and take the deep breathing and take your right ear and drop it to your right shoulder and tuck your chin in slightly. Inhale and raise up your chin. Exhale and let it down. Inhale up, exhale down. Bring your head to your center. Drop your left ear to your left shoulder and raise your chin up. Inhale and exhale, let it down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Bring your head back to the center and stand with your feet shoulder width apart. And then just twist your body and let your arms flow freely around your body. And what you're going to do is is tap your bottom, your lower abdomen, and your lower back as you swing your arms. You're awakening the energy meridians in this area, and just swing and tap those areas. And then bring it up, your hands up to your chest. Tap your chest and your lower back. This is your immune system. This is boosting your immune system. Then bring it back to your lower abdomen and your lower back. Your abdomen is your center of energy, and the lower back, of course, is connected to your spine. So you're waking up the energy in this area. You also, by tapping and knocking these areas, you are loosening toxins that may be trapped in your systems in these areas. That's a form of healing called knocking and tapping, slapping, which we'll talk about at another time. Now, slowly come to a stillness. Okay. Now, as a closing, raise your hands up over your head with your palms facing each other. And grab some good chi from the heavens and bring it down and wash it over your face, your shoulders, your chest, your abdomen, all the way down. Raise your hands up again. Inhale. Grab some good chi and let it flow over you as if you're giving yourself a chi shower. This time, use your hands to form a triangle, and then exhale. Bring the energy down to your lower abdomen. Inhale. Hold. Release. Release your hands. Bring them up again and form the mudra of the prayer symbol. Inhale. And just say namaste. Namaste, and thank you so much. Pardon the interruption, but I hope you were breathing the whole time. Join us again next week. And namaste.
Namaste. Peace and good night.
Good night.